What's going on, relationship warriors? I am here with my partner in crime, Stephanie McKinley.
Hey, everybody.
Man, welcome to the anniversary edition of the Legacy Driven Marriages podcast. And yes, I say the anniversary edition because we are so passionate about helping you elevate your relationship and really do the work that we've done in ours, that we are here on our 24th wedding anniversary and sharing this moment with you guys by recording this podcast today.
Yeah, 24 years. Woohoo.
Man, that's crazy. You know what? I talked to my cousin today and he was like, your marriage is old enough to drink. And I said, you know what? I ain't never thought about it like that. But
Yeah, I've never heard that analogy. That's a new one.
oh man. So I get, we've been together almost over a quarter of a century, but married almost a quarter of a century. And I think about, how do you really keep your marriage fresh? How do you keep your marriage something that you want to continue to be part of? How do you keep your marriage fun? And so today we're going to have a good time talking about how to keep your marriage fun, giving you guys some tangible things that you can start doing now, but really just having some conversations around how we've done that. The seasons when we were so damn serious about life that we couldn't even laugh at each other, much less the hard things that were going on, and how we really worked through that and what we learned about just having a good damn time, man. Stop taking things so serious, even in the tough times, realize that they do get better, and just moving forward together, having a good time, which keeps your marriage so fresh and so fun. And I got to tell you, after we went camping this weekend and put that mattress inside the back of the Jeep, and it was some tight quarters, man. And it went flat twice in the night.
Yeah, you guys. So we went this past weekend tent camping for the first time ever. Neither of us has ever done that. We've always camped in a cabin,
which is
that was
generally more fun to us, right? Like, hey, fellas, don't get mad at me now. I like glamping, I'll head out in a tent that's inside of a cabin. But we decided to switch it up and do something adventurous this weekend.
Yeah, so I was gonna say this was a new adventure for us. We have never actually really roughed it like that, where you don't have a usable bathroom and running water and all that good stuff that we get so used to. And I told Paul, I was like, wow, I never really appreciated the modern conveniences like I do now.
Yeah, when you got them toilets that you keep kind of close, and what did Catherine call it this weekend? The PPTP.
Yeah.
And you go in there and the sun's been beating down on that thing and it's just sweltering inside. Let me tell you, like, if you can't laugh about that, you aren't going to have a good time. So, but it just makes me think, Steph, when I think about people just trying new activities together, and I think about when the kids were younger, for us, we just got so caught up in just living the day to day. Sometimes it felt like we were surviving the day to day, that we didn't do anything outside of the norm. Like, even when we went to the Olive Garden or something for dinner, you got the chicken scampi. I would get the chicken. If I got crazy, I might get some angel hair pasta with some sausage on it. Like, that was the length of our adventure.
Well, we are creatures of habit. I think, we get comfortable and we like our routines and we kind of feel safe in that. And so we tend to just stay doing the same things, but then we do lose the fun and we end up just going through the motions, and like he said, sometimes that's just surviving, sometimes it's just you're just comfortable, and but comfortability is where relationships go to die. I hate to put it that way, but they really do. And I hear so many couples, they're complaining about this and that, and everything revolves around all the chores and tasks and errands and finances and all that stuff that just, eats away at us. And I'm always asking people, well, what do you guys do for fun? Like, you need to go have some fun, because I can just tell there's no fun happening. Because if there was fun happening, you probably wouldn't be complaining about these things so much, because that's the thing. It's like, if that's all we're focused on, then that's where our energy goes. And we have to throw things in there every once in a while to change things up and get us out of that normal routine and pattern. And we learn new things when we do that. And we learn, hey, we might learn something new that we like that we didn't know we liked. Or, like we just said, we just went camping for the first time. We're in our 40s. We just went camping for the first time in a tent. And you know what? It was pretty fun. I mean, sure, there's things about it that you're like, sure, this could be better, but it was fun. I mean, it's just something different. I know for us, that's how we get. It's like if we start to feel like we're getting bored or
Mm-hmm.
it's feeling like we're just doing the same thing every day, like we're like, that's when we tend to get spontaneous and say, let's just take a day trip here, even if it's just that, even if it's for just a couple hours, something new, something out
Yeah.
of our norm, and just mix it up because it really does change our mood and how we're treating each other and just everything around us. So,
It's crazy, as you said, just doing the same thing day to day, that monotony really does lead to complacency.
yes.
And complacency is, like you said, it's where relationships go to die, because complacency leads to taking each other for granted. Complacency will suck the life, not only like even just for us as individual people, much less our relationship together. Complacency will leave you feeling like your whole soul has adjusted and changed, and you're just living day to day. It's like at work, people end up they grind so hard to get to where they think that they need to be, and we do the same things in our really we've got these beautiful relationships, and then we start to allow complacency to creep in, and it's like this drip that just
Mm.
happens over time. And next thing you know, like you've got this apathy and this frustration with your partner, and you feel like they don't love you and you feel like they don't understand you, and it starts to rip you apart. But when you can do some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today to keep your relationship fresh, it prevents it from becoming monotonous. And if you can really keep that monotony out of your relationship, you'll keep your relationship alive. And more than that, you'll be able to help your relationship thrive and just excel in a way that other people don't get the opportunity to have. And so, I
Yeah.
think about times when we were in that monotonous kind of like taking each other for granted stages. That's when our relationship was at the worst, when we weren't doing activities, we weren't having
Right.
fun.
I was going to say we were we were 12 years into our marriage when we like hit that really rough time that we said we hit like a come to Jesus moment where it was like, something's got to give. And in those 12 years, we had never taken a vacation together, just he and I,
Mm-hmm.
in 12 years. And the first 5, we didn't have kids. So that was different. But once we had children, we never took a vacation together
Mm-hmm.
alone. And
Mm-hmm.
we didn't realize how important that actually was until we actually did it.
Yeah. So I guess really like it was the first 5 years we did a lot together, which kept our relationship phenomenal.
Right. We could come and go as we
Mm-hmm.
please. We could do what we wanted. We didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
worry about.
Then we had a 7 year stretch
Yes.
where it was just family, work, grind, day to day. And we didn't do any adventures together. And our relationship, I mean, guys, you heard us talk about on the other podcast that struggle and that come to Jesus moment and that feeling where maybe we lost the love that we had when really it was still there. It was just masked behind the boredom and monotony of where
Right.
we had gotten.
We just stopped having fun together. We
Mm-hmm.
weren't doing anything that was fun. We were just literally in that grind of every day, just getting by and surviving and making sure that the kids are taken care of. And he goes to work and it just, I can't tell you how much it affected our relationship. I mean, we really didn't realize it until we actually
Yeah.
made time for the trip. And even at that point, only because we got to that point where it was like, dang, we're like on the verge of divorce. We need to do something. We need to do something different than we've been doing, or we're not going to change. And so we did end up getting my parents, and my parents lived 6 hours away, you guys. So it's not like they were close
Right.
by.
Right.
We didn't have that
Military life. Those military listeners know.
privilege to have family close that we could leave them with. So that's part of why we never went. But we realized at that point how important this was. And we actually reached out to my parents and asked if they would watch the kids for that whole entire week so we could take this cruise that we had always wanted to take. It was a dream vacation for us.
Mm-hmm.
Always wanted to go to the Caribbean. And so we found a really good deal on it. We planned this trip and it actually happened to be when I had gone back to school and I graduated college.
Mm-hmm.
And so a whole bunch of things had happened at once, but we made time for this trip. And I
Yeah.
mean, you guys, it reconnected us. We realized it literally helped us like find each other again. Like that person we fell in love with that we kind of
Mm-hmm.
lost touch with because we got too complacent in the relationship, and we weren't fueling our bond. We were putting it all into the kids.
Well, don't you like, we weren't mom and dad on that.
Right.
Like, we called the kids back in the day. It was super expensive to call off ship. It probably still is. But so we would call for like 5 minutes because it was like $10 just call to check in every single night. And that was it. We were Walt and Steph. We were this married couple, and it was so cool. We were as active as we wanted to be. The guys and gals will love this, like hot sex in the middle of the afternoon, like eating what we wanted, going to the activities we wanted. We just got to do whatever the hell we wanted. And it was freaking awesome, right? Because we had been so buckled down in parenthood. And this is, if you're in the throes of having young children, like this part's really for you, because you just get so caught up in parenthood and the day-to-day and bath time and bedtime and dinners and laundry and going to work, and
you don't even say, having kids, you do kind of have to have a routine for them.
Yes,
it's best for your kids to thrive to have a routine. So but that's why we say it's once it, like, and then it became kind of a tradition for us when we realized how great that trip was for the relationship. We started to make it to where it was like once a year we did that kind of trip, and it was on our anniversary. We take kind of an anniversary trip every year and tried to do something a little different. And it was always we kind of planned around my parents because they were the only ones we could leave them with for that long. So we would go to places that were reasonably close to where they were. So we did a couple different things. Like there was this, they live in North Carolina near
the whitewater rafting was super fun. Is that what you're about to
No, well, yeah, it's part of it. But they live near Charlotte, North Carolina. And we lived in Virginia Beach, Virginia at the time. And so it was like a 6-hour drive to their house. But there was I don't know if any of you out there are familiar with North Carolina, but Asheville, North Carolina is a beautiful area. It's about 2 hours from my parents. And it was just a nice little mountain getaway for us that we would go reserve like a bed and breakfast for a weekend or whatever. And we go plan like couples massage, and we would just kind of pamper ourselves a little, and we would spend time together that it was just he and I, go on nice dinners. And one of the trips that we took, we went whitewater rafting, which we had never done. That was a new experience. So this is the kind of stuff we're talking about, like venture together, have fun together, try new things.
Oh, and by the way, in those things, because I want to tell, you're going to start laughing as soon as I start telling something, you're going to know. In those things, like you're going to have moments on these adventures that you take together that Steph and I still laugh about some of these moments. And one of the times specifically is we're in Asheville, and the first time we went there, like we dropped the kids off at Steph's parents. It's a couple hours to get there. Like she said, beautiful bed and breakfast type community. We're in this great house the first time, beautiful bed and breakfast. We go to get this massage at this place, and they had these plush robes and like the lemon cucumber water, a little chocolate in there, like a beautiful massage room, waterfall cascading and the noise. The masseuses were bomb, and we're like, we finished. They gave us these warm towels to put around our neck. It was
like a warm pillow thing, almost like the neck pillows you wear at the airport. And it was warmed, and you put it on your shoulders.
When we were done to just chill out, and we were like, oh man, we just need this life. Like this was so amazing. So the next time we go to Asheville, we want to get another massage, but the place where we had this bomb massage is booked, and we can't get it because we just waited too long. And so we went to this other place that had pretty good reviews, but there wasn't like a ton of places. Well, I'm not joking, y'all. I had this older woman. I think she was struggling. She massaged my butt a little bit too much. Stephanie had this dude looking like Tom Selleck with the big old mustache. I swear to God, I swear, y'all, I swear.
No joke. He had like an 80-year-old woman, and I had a guy who looked like Chester the Molester.
I mean, with the stash, And by the way, those mustaches are coming back in, but it was
they were both creeping us out, and it was like,
remember the towel they put down? I felt like it was like their towel they used.
Old
I mean, it didn't feel unsanitary, but it didn't feel like premium quality. And I'm like, how did this get 4.8 stars?
Oh my gosh. God. But you know what? And for it being it was like such a, I would have to say, almost crappy experience compared to the first experience we had, which was like amazing experience that we were trying to recreate. But you know what? We laugh about it to this day. We still laugh and joke about that particular experience because it was just, and when we left that place, we were like, talking to each other about it, and we were just cracking up because it was
We were in tears, y'all. We don't even really talk
hilarious.
about the bougie massage that we got, and they were both the same price, which is really crazy. We talk about Tom Selleck and the lady from Miss Doubtfire massaging my butt and being like, "Oh, young man, do you like this? Feel good?" I'm like, "I guess if I needed a booty massage, like I thought she was gonna hit my shoulders and my back where it's all tight." So, and you know what's what's crazy? Y'all got to know, like we are not playing, we are not over exaggerating. This is what it was like. But
And
when
honestly, at that point, we needed that trip so bad because we were kind of like at each other and kind of
being all
arguing
petty,
and just like we weren't in a good place either. So it was like we need this trip. And like we just had, even though that experience was like, it just was so hilarious that, I mean, we were joking, and it brought us back to each other again though, because it was just so funny to us that
right?
how horrible the experience actually was.
Like keeping things fun and exciting, like man, it strengthens your relationship. It reminds you of why you love each other. We think about, we struggle to maintain this sense of humor a lot because like life can kick you in the ass, man. It can be
Mm.
super tough sometimes. And as much as we talk about things being for us and we're going to come out of this winter season and we're going to be this powerful couple and these people, and we know this is to make us stronger, and we say all these things to ourselves. But man, when you're in that, it's really hard. So to Steph's point, when you get out, you adventure together and you have fun together, you travel together, you really do have these moments where the only thing you can do, like the only thing we could do was laugh. We paid a couple $100. I think I might have even still been enlisted in the Navy. I don't think I was an officer at that point. So that was a lot of money for us. It was finally a getaway and a break from the kids and just about being Walt and Steph. But that is one of our core relationship funny memories. And we're probably not doing it
Mhm.
any justice. That's why
You
Steph and I
had to
laugh.
be there really
Man,
to
I
to
mean,
understand.
even I swear, like the room we were in, it looked like grandma curtains and stuff. And when they broke out those green towels that looked like maybe they might have dried off in the shower, but they washed them, but they look like they've been used. I mean,
I
y'all,
mean, you guys, the experience from the first one to the second one was like night and day. I mean, we were like in this premium spa luxury place the first time, and then we were like in someone's house on the second one.
bro, yeah,
And it was kind of scary.
like it could have straight up been like Chainsaw Massacre. We wouldn't have even known. She might have hit me with the formaldehyde and knocked me out or something. And but here's the thing too. I think you got to be playful in the moments too, because I think
Mm.
like I'll wake Stephanie up. So before we went camping this weekend, she was sleeping a little bit longer, and I'm like, okay, but, especially those of us who are like a time person, right? I'm a time person, and I needed her to get up. So if I would have just been like, hey, get chop chop, man, we about to go, shit, hurry up. We see every time we're running late, and I'd have made these absolute statements. We both would have started our little mini vacation of camping this weekend in not in a great mood. But instead, I'm like singing little songs about camping to her to wake her up. And she always giggles, and thank God she laughs at my jokes, and she's laughing and she's giggling, and she wakes up and she's in a playful mood. And, we're just having fun and having a sense of humor, but we're being playful with each other in those moments. Ladies, when was the last time you walked behind your husband and smacked him on the butt? I mean, then you better run, because then he'll be like, that's an invitation.
Mm.
But, when was the last time you just had fun with each other? Think about the things you did early in your relationship when you're courting each other, when there's this puppy love, and recreate some of those moments with each other the best that you can for what's relevant today. Like, start having fun with each other. Stop being so damn serious all the time.
Yeah, you guys, they're so I can't stress it enough. I think that trying to plan some kind of getaways together where it's just the two of you is so crucial, so important. Like I said, for us, it became like our anniversary was the thing we could plan every
Yeah.
year that was going to be
Intentional.
our trip, because we always had family trips with the kids, but we needed to have our trip. And so we always thought our anniversary was a good time to do that. As the kids got older, it didn't have to be our
Yeah.
anniversary, but and it wasn't as necessary because, like now we get a lot of time together now, and we take a lot of dates because our kids are grown and we don't need
Mm-hmm.
someone to watch them. And so we've gained our freedom back a lot now. But we know in that phase where you have young children that it's so hard, and that's where relationships start to really struggle because you're not getting that time together and remembering why you fell in love with each other and seeing the fun side of your partner. And a lot of times that can't happen or doesn't happen as much as we would like it to in our everyday routines and stress. So
Well, I think so. That's a good segue to this next piece is we're talking about big macro events, right? These big, huge things that you go do once a year that just keep the spirit of love in your relationship alive at a different level. Like it's like pouring a pitcher of water into your bucket of love that you have. But if you're waiting to pour that pitcher in there, you're going to find this dryness that's in your relationship that's not going to fulfill, right? It's not going to quench that thirst that you have for each other. It's the micro thing. So thinking about date nights and things of that nature, I think that's the micro things that you can do all the time, being playful together, like laughing together, having a damn good time together. These are little things that you do that, so when you take the macro event, like the trip, it's like you pour that into your bucket of love you have for each other and it just overflows. You're not filling the bucket up, you're overflowing it at that point. So take some date nights together too. It doesn't have to be profound. It doesn't have to be like we're going to go do our anniversary dinner tonight. That's normally the once time a year we splurge on like a way more expensive dinner, more romantic.
Get more dressed up.
Yeah. Like that's our intentional way of doing that. And there might be times we do a little bit of that, but maybe
like
not
we
as
said,
crazy.
It used to be a trip. Now most of the time we just do a dinner because we don't need the trip as much as we did when they were younger. But like we said, like it took us 12 years to figure that, or 7 years of having children to figure out we needed to make that time for each other. And
it almost took a divorce to figure it out. So thank God we figured it out. And some of you listening are there.
Our relationship has been so different since we started making that time for each other. I cannot tell you how much it affects your relationship.
Take a date. Even if you have little kids, find a parent, like swap out at least once a month, once every other week. Swap out watching kids. Like find a way. If you prioritize it and you're intentional, it will happen. You need time to be the couple that fell in love. Your kids need you to be the couple that fell in love. Steph and I, we're the cautionary tale of what happens if you don't do this, which is why we're so passionate about sharing, which is why we're spending our anniversary together with you, because we know what that's like.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody saw Walt posted today on his personal page anniversary post, and it had a bunch of pictures from past years and different things that we've done together, and it was the stuff like whitewater rafting, kayaking, which that was one of our not so good experiences, which is a whole nother story. But sometimes you discover things you don't like doing together.
But it's still a funny story for us now, right? Even though we wanted to smack each other off, hit each other with the dang paddles off the tandem kayak.
We're like, we will never tandem kayak ever again.
We learned our communication wasn't as effective as we thought it was when we were on the tandem kayak, like paddling on opposite sides when we're trying to go in a direction. We were counteracting each other. It wasn't a good time.
So I got to tell you guys, like we've tried a lot of these different things, and this was on these trips. Like that was a trip to Lake Tahoe. We'd never been there. Absolutely beautiful place. We tried this kayaking. We'd never done it before together. I'd never been at all. Actually, it was my first time ever, which is probably why it was a disaster. But Lake Tahoe was not the place to learn to kayak.
Steph was like, next time we're renting a jet ski, screw this kayak crap. We need something with a motor. And by the way, hang with us, because towards the end of this, we're actually going to give you 10 quick hit things that you can do to just inject some fun into your relationship, specifically around creating some date nights. Some that maybe cost a little bit of money and some that don't cost any money.
Right. And I know some of these things we're talking about do require money, and I know not everybody has that, and so sometimes you got to get really creative. But that's what we're saying. Like even if you have to swap with another couple and say, "I'll watch your kids this night, you watch ours this night," so you can get away, and you can do free things for fun too. I mean, even just taking a bike ride together can be really fun. I mean, we've done that too. I mean. We've done a lot of, like, we went camping this weekend. If it wasn't for the fact that we never camped, we had to buy some supplies. But typically, if you already have that stuff, it's pretty much free. It can be free. So, I mean, there's all kinds of horseback riding. We've done things like that. Like
just go get ice cream. Yeah. Right. Just watch a TV show you both really like. Like right now, we're watching Outlander. Now, if y'all have watched it, I think Stephanie likes that show a lot more than me. But we watch other shows she's watched shows I like. And I think this takes us to another huge piece and a really important piece that I see a lot of relationships miss on. You got to really support each other's interests. You got to be willing to compromise and do things maybe your spouse likes more than you, because it's about the adventure. It's about doing things together. It's not about doing what you want all the time. It's about doing what you and your spouse want. And sometimes that's more what your spouse wants. So like watching Outlander, that's like some of our just our quality time. That's some little time we spend it. Those are the micro events that I'm talking about. And luckily I get my hair tickled and stuff, my back tickled maybe when we're doing that. And it gives us a chance to have physical touch because we're cuddled up together. But I watched that show because Stephanie likes the show. Now, what I found was like, it's a pretty good show. I probably would never watch it on my own. But I think about when years ago, and you could talk about when we went to Wicked, but I think about years ago when we were dating, right? This is when you keep it fun and fresh. And Stephanie and I watched the whole Rocky series in one day.
Yeah, we had a Rocky marathon. I talked about this on another episode, but
and Stephanie was like, I said, baby, let's watch Rocky.
Because I didn't really want to watch it, to be honest. I was like, Rocky, like that's definitely a guy thing. Like, and he was so all about it. And so when I saw how excited he was about it, I was like, well, I guess I'll give it a shot.
I'm like, they're back to back, all of them, about to rock it. And for real though, this is like, matter of fact, why don't you tell the story? Because just how your perception of what you thought it was going to be changed, and how you ended up liking the show, throwing some air punches when Rocky was in the middle of his fight.
Yeah, I got to where, a couple movies in, I was starting to cheer for Rocky. And, I realized there was kind of a love story going on in the background too. And there was
Adrian, shout out.
Yeah. And it was just such a story of perseverance and some really deep life lessons in those movies that I didn't realize it would be such a story. I thought it was just, boxing. I'm like, oh, that's totally not my thing. I don't like people punching each other, and that's definitely a guy thing. So that piece isn't like my favorite, but it was all the build up stuff that he did to get to that point. And it was a good series. And I did realize like you do have to be open to some of these things. Like I would have never watched that if it weren't for him. And I learned that it was a really great story, and I talk about it often now. So, and I refer to it on things. And
I felt loved and I felt connected, and she did what I wanted to do. But what was cute for me now looking back was, here I am with this girl who was just watching this with me because she just wants to be a cool girlfriend. Like, because we weren't even married then. She just wants to be a good girlfriend. And man, by the third movie, she was shadow boxing, like, come on, hit him, hit him, hit him. Like she's underplaying how excited she was, because I remember it much differently. And I was like, oh, look, she into Rocky now. Yeah, you're welcome. That's what I just did for you. I changed your life with the Rocky movies.
Okay, let's not.
So, but and alternatively, right, guys, you got to do things sometimes your ladies want to do. That might not be your jam, right? I love fishing and off-roading and the dude stuff. This is just my jam. It's how I'm built. And one time Stephanie said, hey, we were in Virginia Beach at the time station there. The Broadway show Wicked. Yeah, that was our anniversary, right? Mm-hmm. And the Broadway show Wicked, about like the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz, was coming to Norfolk. And she's like, I really want to go. And I'm like, that's lame as hell, man. Hell no. Broadway show. They be singing all high and like dancing. That is not my thing. Like, all right, baby. So really what I thought in the moment was, well, okay, so it's our anniversary. So the happier on our anniversary, the happy during our anniversary, the happier I am at the end of our anniversary. So I'm going to go ahead and suck it up and I'm going to go. But the cool thing was, so, right, I'm supporting your interests. And how did you feel when I'm like, okay, we'll go and we got tickets? Like, what was your mindset at that point? Happy?
I was happy.
Right? Did you feel
happy
loved?
You went to do something with me that I wanted to do.
Right. So it wasn't like we went fishing or we went to disc golf or we went to off-road or we watched another Rocky marathon. It wasn't about what I wanted to do. I was willing to compromise and sacrifice for my wife to do something she really wanted to do, to help her feel connected and loved, and like what she wanted to do mattered. Here's what was really cool. And I'm not joking, guys. I thought it was going to be stupid. Not joking. I was not looking forward to it, other than the fact that I was with Steph. It was really good. I would go pay to watch that again, that specific one. And I would definitely go to a Broadway show Um, again, because the talent level of the people that was in it, the level of how they sang, like they really did weave the story, and it wasn't like so musical that I lost interest. Where, they said the bird went to the store, and that's a song all of a sudden. Like the ones that just seem like, come on, bro, like y'all singing just when you created one sentence, they don't even make sense why you're singing right now. Stop singing every single line of what you're saying. It wasn't that. There was a story, and there was like a lot happening, and there was a protagonist and antagonist, and the people singing. I was like, damn, they're really, really, really good. And the effects were good, and the makeup was good on them, and I thought, wow, I had a good time tonight. I like that more than I thought. So look at what I personally would have missed out on. I would have missed out on a happier wife. I would have missed out on a cool experience I can talk about on the podcast. I would have missed out on even thinking that I liked a Broadway show, because it doesn't seem as manly as what I'm used to. I would have missed out on all of that if I wasn't willing to try a new activity together, like we talked about, and support Stephanie's interests. So if you're out there and it's all about you all the time and what you want to do, stop yourself, check yourself, and ask your spouse what they want to do, and then go try to do it. You went golfing with me.
Right. Because it's never going to be good if one person is always doing the compromising. Then that's going to lead to hurt feelings and resentment. So you really have to try to balance each other's interests and try to give and take a little from each of you, not always one person, because seriously, it really does build resentment, and it's very hard to come back from that.
Yeah. And doing the things you like, that's fun too. But man, there's something different about getting out and adventuring together, and something neither of you have even done, like camping in the back of the Jeep. We had a great time. Like the road trips we take, all the things that we've done, Stephanie and I, one thing that keeps our relationship fresh is we both like adventure personally.
Travel.
And so sometimes that's an easy decision for us to do. But if you've got an introvert and extrovert, Stephanie's parents are in this bucket. I see we got a lot of friends that are in this bucket. Then you got to be willing to get outside your comfort zone to do what your partner wants to do, because that's what's best for your relationship the long term. And when both parties in a relationship and a partnership are doing that, man, it's like adding rocket fuel to where you're headed together.
Oh, I absolutely agree. So we were just trying to give you guys, we had like 10 things here that were all ways to maintain a strong connection. And we talked about like getting monotonous and trying to avoid that monotony. And so that was some of what we talked about, was the try new activities together, date nights, travel together, support each other's interests. Another big one we said was maintain a sense of humor, because we tend to get too serious and, constantly at each other about what the other one isn't doing and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And sometimes we just need to have a little fun, make jokes of each other. Like
sometimes you're like, you're no fun anymore. Well, when was the last time you were fun? Like if you're telling your spouse they're no fun anymore, when was the last time you were actually fun? Or are you waiting for them to be fun first? How about y'all just be fun together? So what are, Steph, give them 10 things, 10 quick hits real quick. What are some specific ideas that people can do to create some fun, some adventure, micro things that they can do now? And you guys pick one of these things, and this week do this with your partner. And then go to our Instagram or Facebook group at Legacy Driven Marriages, and we want to hear about what happened when you did this.
And remember, what works for one couple may not work for every couple. So you got to really find what works for you and your personalities. But some quick ones we kind of talked about: explore a new hobby together, have a game night, plan a surprise date night, take a weekend, cook a fancy meal together, have a movie or TV series marathon.
Hashtag Rocky. Come on, ladies, get in there.
Go on a picnic, take a dance class, volunteer together. We did that recently.
Mm-hmm.
Plan a themed date night. So all these are quick, easy things you can do right now that would add some spice in there, let you have some fun. Let those personalities shine through. Remember why you love each other.
And not all of them cost money.
No.
Steph gave you a lot of free ones you can do in there too. Go on a walk in the park. Just hold hands. Parents of young kids. When was the last time you held each other's hand, not your child's hand?
Yeah. That one gets lost easily. So, and it's really actually, it's one of those things where it seems like a small thing. It's actually a pretty big thing.
The micro things matter. We're telling you guys. So look, guys.
Date nights, you're huge, huge. I can't stress it enough. That's the thing that, like you said, we're the cautionary tale. We didn't do it enough, and it really affected us.
Prioritize what's important. Your job, your title, the money, all these things that we put before our relationship most times aren't the priority. The priority is your spouse. If you're taking care of your spouse and you're taking care of your relationship, the other things will be great, including your children. Prioritize your spouse. Stephanie and I didn't always do that. And the more we do that, the happier we are. And the cool thing was, even today, one of our daughters, she actually put on Instagram and tagged me and Stephanie in it, a picture of us holding hands and put 24 years. Your children are watching the example that you set. Set the example that leaves a legacy.
Yeah, that's a good point you just brought up, is that you are the example for them of what a relationship looks like. So they're modeling you. Whatever you're doing, there's a good chance they're going to model that later. So you want to be showing up as the best version of your, as a couple for them, because they're going to go on at one day be in a relationship also, and they're going to remember how you were as a couple, and that's what they're going to model and copy. So keep that in mind. And that's something that I know we think about often too.
Like, give each other a kiss in front of your kids where they think you're cringe, or for the teenage parents, cringe, because we're all cringe, or they're like, oh, gross. Hug each other, give each other a kiss. Those kind of things your kids do remember, and those kind of things show your kids what love really looks like. And by the way, then you just start loving each other more.
Do those little things like hold the door open for your lady, like give each other the goodnight kiss and the good, the hug goodbye, and all the little things, like they really matter, and we all pay attention to.
So look, guys, get back to having some dang fun. Pick one of the 10 things Stephanie talked about on here. If you didn't catch it, go back and listen to that. I'll try to put it in the show notes too. And we're building our website right now, Legacy Driven Marriages. We're going to have like a 30-day marriage challenge on there and some other stuff that's just free for people, just to continue to help others create a legacy driven marriages, just like we are, because at one point we weren't, like maybe you're not right now too. And you can come back and create a thriving marriage afterwards, but it's going to take you having some damn fun. Get out there. So look, go to our Instagram page or our Facebook group. Both of them are at Legacy Driven Marriages. And tell us what you're doing right now to make your marriage fun. What are one of the 10 things that you can do to commit to that? We'd love to hear from each and every single one of you guys.
Yeah, and if you have one we didn't mention, please share it with us.
Yeah, share the love, man. Give an idea to somebody else who might need that specific idea. And by the way, like, hearing from you guys, like, man, you don't understand how pumped up that keeps me and Stephanie as we continue to try to build this mission and build this movement of elevating relationships and saving families. And so don't forget, obviously, to subscribe to the podcast too. You actually have to hit a little button to subscribe, depending, no matter what platform you're listening on. Or if you want, you can go watch our interaction on YouTube at Legacy Driven Marriages. But we're going to wrap this up and we're going to come back next Tuesday. So until next week,
get into your relationship arena, keep loving, keep fighting for each other.
Let's rock it. See you guys next Tuesday.